All right. Greg, you ready to go?
Sure.
What do you got for me?
Have you ever been in a game where you were less on schedule than the other day, and what did that do to your play call?
Well, it just really ruined the whole day. I mean, it didn't give you an opportunity to see what the game plan was, the things that we had planned, how we wanted it to play out. I mean, we were never able to get the game plan basically come to life. It's frustrating in that way. When you look at third downs where it's important for us to convert. When we were in normal ones, we did a really nice job, but we had 24, 25, 26, 18. I mean, the percentages of being able to make those and come back from those is really tough. So that made it really difficult.
How do you now then, days later, turn right around and start over?
Well, that's what we do. We have a whole new week. We go right back to work. Obviously we have to make sure that we're on our details and the things that we're asking ourselves to do. And it's really everybody. Everybody's got to take a look at themselves and find out what they could do better. All the coaches, we have to do that. Myself, then all the players need to look at themselves as well. And we just come back and get back to work. That's what we're good at.
The apparent miscommunication between Russ and the receivers or the tight ends, how much of that was just being so far off schedule versus any other factors?
It showed up. I mean, we had a couple of those plays that it did show up, and it was a little bit of factors of everything. I mean, we had a couple of miscommunications, we had a couple of missed throws, and it seemed like it was just that day. We had a really bad day in all phases. I mean, from the very first play of the game, which things went wrong on that play, to the third play where we put the ball on the ground, and it just kind of set the tone for the day.
How much did the Rams' pressure cause all that?
I really felt like it was more about what we were doing. I don't want to take anything away from them. I mean, they played fabulous. They have great players, but we just didn't do the things that we needed to do. There was even the one drive where we put 2 runs back to back, and we were able to get nice plays out of those. But we were just the game just got so far out of hand. We weren't able to, like I said, to do really any of the game plan that we had designed and planned on doing, and it really put us behind the sticks, behind the score, really behind everything.
Another difficult front seven that you guys are facing again this week. Anything that stands out to you with them, Lawrence being so dangerous when it comes to sacks?
Yeah, I mean, it's another challenge for us. We have to, obviously make sure that Lawrence, DeMarcus doesn't wreck the game for us. We had issues last week, like we just talked about, but we have to come back from it, and we have to. We have to be on point. We have to communicate better. We have to be on the same page better. We have to get the ball out quicker. We have to throw and catch. We have to run. We have to do everything better than we did last week.
Did Russell, did he press any more or anything as that game went on Sunday at all? Or
I wouldn't say it was pressing. I mean, there was just. I mean, he's so competitive. He's so positive in his outlook, and believe that we can turn it around. Whether it's 20, 27, 34, whatever the score was, believing that we had a chance to be able to turn it around. And I don't know if he really went outside of himself too much. Maybe there's a couple plays probably where he's throwing the ball backwards, but I don't think he was expecting to get grabbed the way that he did and slung around. And he's just trying to compete to the last moment. And so we talk about those things and knowing when and when not to make those plays. But we know how Russell is, and we've seen some spectacular plays that he's been able to make. I mean, in that game, that one scramble where he stepped up, scrambled to the left, ends up scrambling down the field and makes a big play. So it's hard to say this is the time to give up. So you want him competing to the end, and we're going to continue to try to do that.
Do you have any thought of wanting to get him out of there a little quicker at all? Or
we talked about it. We talked about it the last drive that he went in, but I think we're all our competitive nature's probably got the best of us there, and trying to, it was important to get him out of there after that point.
What has his demeanor been like this week? Because he's so even-keeled, but we haven't seen him coming off a game like this before.
So far, I mean, it's only Wednesday, but I would say it's pretty similar to how he's been. I mean, he's always really focused during the week. He's always trying to, find the best in himself, find the best of everybody else out here at practice, and make sure that we're all doing the things that we need to be doing. And he seems to always be competing out here. And I really haven't seen him. I don't think he's pressing or anything like that. I think he's just being rushed through this week so far.
You guys have never been in this situation this late in the season, even just trying to get into the playoffs on the outside. What's different personally for you and how do you resist not trying to change everything 2 games out?
We're just, it's a week, as we've talked about it before. It's a week in, week out battle. I mean, every single week, whether you win the week before, whether you lose the week before, whatever, you have to be able to put that last week to bed, and you have to come out and be able to play this week. And we can't look ahead, we can't look back. We have to focus on this 1 week. So, whatever the issues are that we're trying to, continue to get right. Like I said, you could be great on third down 1 week, and the next week it's an issue, and you have to get back to, what can we do to make that better. Red zone, the running game, balls to Jimmy Graham, balls to Doug, all those questions. It comes up, every single week in terms of how can we fix this? How do we get this right? And so that's what we do. We go back to work. We try to fix all the things that we can fix. We try to get the players all on the same page, and those guys are eager. They come back to work ready to work, ready to put their best foot forward, and ready to move on. And I don't expect anything different this week. I expect us to come out and play like the Seahawks are capable of playing, and put a better game out than we did last week.
It didn't show up in the Rams game, but how different has it been to try to get a running game going with no fullback this year?
It's been, it's just different style of runs. You have we've had a fullback before and used it extensively, and then we've not had a fullback. So I remember times that even Mike Robb went down or whatever, and you have to make adjustments. So you kind of go with what you have. The important thing is use all our personnel to the best of our abilities that we can. So if you don't have a fullback, then you start using more tight ends, more wide receivers, what have you.
In your time as a coach, or maybe even going back to when you're a player, when a player is coming back from, whether it's an injury or in this case a suspension, how do you see that impact their first game back in terms of, I guess, more effort or more hungry? Or
are you talking about Ezekiel in this case? How would I answer that question? I think a lot of times they come back hungry, for sure. Also, sometimes they can come back with time off. I can even just throw injuries in there. They come back maybe a little rusty, and so it's important to just kind of get back and just play football. It's important to have a week of practice under your belt. I think that helps. But it's important just to be able to come back and just play and not try to do too much, because I think you can definitely over-try after all. I'm going to show you what I got after some of that long layoff.
Anything else?
Thanks.